What we want to do is show you the points on the foot that need to be measured. If you're looking here, you'll see the ball of the foot runs diagonally below the toes. You can find this bump right here. This is a critical point to measure. It is always at an angle. And we took the sock off so you can see it. You should measure with your socks on. The second point is you start at this joint right here, run your finger up the bone until you feel a bump. Some people have a divot, some people have a bump, but that is the metatarsal joint. That is the point at which you will measure around the circumference of the foot for the instep measurement. Then we will measure the long heel, point your foot down like that. The purpose of this is this goes around here. It is the smallest we can make the boot in order to get your foot in it. If we make it smaller than this measurement, you won't get your foot in it. All right, put your sock back on. Now, you have to stand up when you do this. What you do is you will put your foot diagonally from one side to the other, corner to corner. That way you can get 90% of the feet in the world will fit on an 8.5 by 11 paper. It is best if you use a short pencil. Have the person stand up, center their feet and their weight so they're comfortable standing. You will hold the pencil straight up and down as you go around the foot, paying particular attention around the ankle. There's a tendency around the ankle to lay the pencil down like that, which is why you should use a short pencil. Also go straight around the heel. Before you move the foot, you take and mark the ball of the foot, which is where you're going to take the measurement. That way we know where you're taking the measurement. Let's see. Do not try and go under the foot and show me how narrow your instep is. I don't need to know. We can figure it out. Next thing you do is you pick up this foot, you put the other foot in the opposite direction. And do the same thing. Get comfortable, your weight balanced. You can feel where that pad is right at the bone. That marks it. Okay, go ahead and sit down. You can do these measurements sitting down. Cross one leg over the other. What we generally do is put a line right and left. This would be the ball measurement first. And you want to find those points that you marked on the foot that we showed you earlier. And you lay this over like that till you can see. Do not pull it tight. Do not stick your finger under it. Just make sure it's lined up. This is 9 inches. The most common mistake we see with people measuring is they look at this line and call it 10 inches. It's not. This is 9 inches around, almost, yes. 9.5. Now that's dead on 9. So there's no doubt about it. Whatever you do, make sure you look at the end of the tape measure and not the first inch. That makes a big difference. And what you'll do next, as I showed you before, you run your finger up the joint till you feel that bone. Okay, that's her right foot. Right down 9 inches. And go up over the ball to that joint. And you go straight around. Measure once again. That is 8.5 inches. If you look here, it's between the 8 and the 9. Okay, now point your foot down like you're trying to put on a boot. This is critical if you're getting boots. Not so important with shoes. It should go from the point of the heel below the ankle bone and over the top of the foot. That should be the smallest measurement you could get there. That is, right now, there's another common mistake. People look at that 12 and they think that the 12 is going this way. It's actually the 11. This is 11 and it's close enough to call it 13/16. Again, a common mistake is they see that 12 and they think that that's 12 and 3/16. Instead, it's 11 and 13/16. So always double check that. Okay, when you straighten out the foot, we'll do the other foot. And you find quite often that one foot is bigger than the other. It's nothing to lose sleep over or panic about. Probably 60–70% of our customers have different size feet, which is why you should measure both feet. Sending me one foot tracing and one set of measurements for that foot doesn't help. That's what we're going to call 8 5/8. That's 8 9/16. Just very slightly different. Okay, now put your foot down again. It's very rare you get a major difference between the two long heels, but it's always good to check. And that's about a 1/16 difference. Okay, now depending on whether you're ordering shoes or boots, we need to measure the calf. It is best if you're measuring over your pants. She's where if you want skin tight boots, you're going to have to do it over the skin, but very few people do. We're going to take this tape measure and you measure from here. Hold that for me, please. This tells me how far off the floor you are. And we generally go to about, unless you have, now if you have big ankles, we'll measure at 6. We'll measure it at 6. Mostly we start at 8 inches up. We measure over the pants. We don't want to pull it tight, but don't try and outsmart me by making it too loose, because it will be too loose, because I will add extra room for it. So we're going to go 8 inches. It's 12 inches high. And we're going to go to 10 inches. This is where we start getting into the meat of the calf. Most people, their calves really start to swell out. Dancers and stuff start swelling out about 10, and they get pretty big. It's generally about 12. We're looking at 10 inches high. We're 14-inch calf. 12 inches is generally the widest part of the calf. And that's 15. And the height of the boot. This young lady here probably could not wear a 16-inch boot, but she could wear a 14-inch boot. So we'll measure this at 14. Anything much higher than 14 will start pinching the back of the leg and be uncomfortable if you're sitting in a chair. Excellent. Very good. Now, the most important thing you can do for us. You notice that she has bunions or bone structure that protrudes to the top. We can notice it on the side. Just put a note on it that this extends to the top of the foot. Right there. Now really this is quite vital. We saved these for years. Put your name, address, phone number, and the kind of shoe you want on the foot tracing. It saves us a lot. Here we go. If you want to take a picture, if you're looking for Sasquatch, he's in here. We have foot tracings going back to 2002. So every foot we've ever had a name with, we've saved. If you don't get your name on it, it goes in the garbage. Okay, that's what you've done. Also, write down the details of your boot. You want it 13 inches high, write it down on here. You want what color, describe what you want on this boot and save it. That's it. If you can do that, and it's fairly simple, it doesn't take much time, we will probably fit you 95% of the time with the first pair. Thank you very much.